I had the vest on her for like, 15 minutes while I'm trying to get things up, and she's like, she didn't move. And it's like, okay, you've had enough, that's kind of stressful, I'll take it off. And now I take it off, she was running over to it, like, no, I want to wear it. Kind of funny, little side note, I started recording this at exactly 4:20. So, anyway, today we are, as you can see from the title of the video, talking about patches. I wanted to go over the ones I've got for the vest I'm working on. There's more history in these things than you'd think. Like, a lot of it, of course, pertains to me and who I am, but also some of these are left over from the jacket that I bought and just never got around to putting on. It's kind of funny. But we're going to kick it off. I do have Thor's vest here. He's got the two on here. I bought those to put on the jacket when I first started, and I used Folk Metal Gamer as a placeholder name. And so I bought some Folk Metal ones, and when I did his vest, I just put them on here. But I had another one. It would have fit over either spot. It's a pretty big patch. It's not band related, but it was one of those, I had it in Velcro, so I could take it off and swap it for him. I actually have two that I can go with this, really. So the first one we're going to look at, I need to be facing the camera. The first one we're going to look at, let me go grab this. It's got a quote from Tolkien, and it does have a raven on it, because I had to have something with a raven on it. But it has not all who wander are lost. And so the idea was that I'd be able to swap it out on his vest like that. The other one, I bought this initially for the jacket. It was going to be, I was going to do two back patches because this would fit like right on the top. And I ended up not, I just never got around to it because it's going to be a bitch to put on. The worst one on that jacket was the ghost one, and that's mostly the size and the fact that I did it on the sleeve. I love doing sleeve work like that, so I'm going to miss that on the vest. It's like I have way less material to work with. But I bought this so I could have almost two back patches, and then just never got on there. And I even considered putting it onto Thor's. But again, even just sewing it into Velcro would have just been such a pain in the ass. And it's the Sonata Arctica logo. You know, I'm a huge fan, and I've said this before, like one of my favorite albums of all time is Days of Grey, the album everybody else hates. So, but I had thought I could get it all Velcroed in and layered across his thing, like something like that. I forget how I did it exactly, but I was able to make it work. Maybe it had to go the other way, but it never happened. I've tested this on the vest, and I can put this on the vest like right at the top of the back, like that. Oh, you like Sonata Arctica too? I don't think you've ever heard them. Please don't eat. So that was actually considering Please Don't Ulrich up for this one because she's had a pretty exciting day and I think just wants to rest. But I was like, nah, but I'm like trying to keep the two of them, and they're both huge, and they're gonna take up the whole table, and they're gonna try and eat the patches, and I won't be able to keep them all off. So yeah, I've got the Sonata Arctica. I specifically got it in that blue. They have these in a lot of colors. Red seems to be really popular. I wanted it in the blue to give it sort of that Arctic feel to it. So, but it's, again, trying to sew that is gonna be, wow. Compared to some of your black and death metal patches, though, that's nothing. So we're going to jump in here. I'm going to show you some. They're really basic. I can tell you the store I got these ones from. One of them did make it onto the other jacket. I'll go ahead and move Thor's old vest. We're just going to put it under the altar for now. So these were from the old vest. I bought a set. The store on Etsy is called, it goes like Designed by Jordy, Print by Jordy. I'm going to have to look it up, so I'm going to try and link her this. Hers are nothing fancy, it's just names of bands. We're going to go ahead and lead with this Fields of the Nephilim one, because most of them that I got from her would look like this. They just, this kind of a gray script on this black says Fields of the Nephilim. We're going to come back to this patch, it's going to get kind of funny. So I ordered a bunch. They never made it on the jacket. These are kind of more like, you saw what I had on the jacket. I had like Delane and Nightwish, X-Japan, Powerwolf. Not really too many goth bands on it. It was mostly power and symphonic metal. Yes, you're digging into my hand. So of course when I started buying more goth bands, the only one that was from this set too, the only one that made it, I had a Skeletal Family one down on the bottom because I had to have something like, you can't find anything Ghost Dance, so I went with Skeletal Family because lifelong crush on Anne-Marie Hurst. I would make love to that woman's vocal cords if I could. Nobody can sing like her. She's got that kind of, like her and Tina Root. So these are kind of more like the B-listers, and it feels kind of weird putting these on the new vest, but I said I didn't want to do any duplicates. So, oh, you handed that one to me. She just picked this up and so I guess we're starting with Flesh for Lulu. But you can see this is a little more fancy. The three of these are all really more fancy than the Fields of Nephilim one and the Skeletal Dance one. So these are really cool. I think she hand paints these. So I've got a Flesh for Lulu. Jean Loves Jezebel. I love that this came in green. It just really makes it pop out. I love that. And I think this is great because it's done in red. And it should have been like this green, or even this has got like the Flesh for Lulu has like this pink. Yeah, the pink would have been better for this, but or even two different colors. So you already know where I'm going with this. Pink turns blue. It's all in red. But these I love these. I want to get a few more of these because I had that Skeletal Family one on the very bottom of the jacket, and that's what I want to do with these. Is I'm going to line all these kind of basic ones on the bottom. But again, with the vest being like telling your life story, like the last one was really just music, and this one's going to be more of who I am as a person all around. I thought it'd be cool to have like some of these goth band ones like this to be on the bottom around like that's my roots. That's where everything starts, like musically and then some, like what fashion, movies, everything. So having all the goth stuff on the bottom like that kind of brings it. Like if you're looking at a tree, you know that's my roots. So we're gonna go back to Fields of Nephilim because I have another one of their patches here. See, I almost didn't have her in the video. I was just gonna have these set up on the table, so I wasn't turning around, but I was like, no, I've got to have her in the video. I have to from now on. So I had initially found this Fields, and I loved it because it was round. I like when they're not just like square, though that is a lot easier to work with because you put a bunch of round ones because you end up with a lot of empty space. So I found this and thought this was fantastic. I love the symbol on it. Just everything about this is cool. Roz ended up buying this one, and I didn't want to duplicate anything of hers. So when I saw this one, I just went ahead and got this one. I was like, I'll just put it on the bottom of the others. Like, that's good enough. They're like, the bands I had, they were like my A-listers, and these are kind of like my B-listers. This is like B and a half. It's like an A- type of a thing. I say that because like Jean Loves Jezebel, Painter, bands like that, Echo and the Bunnymen, I want to get one of theirs, but I want to put it on the hat next to the Birthday Massacre ones. I've got like all rabbit-themed ones on the hat. These are bands that, thank you. These are bands that I like. I listen to them. If I heard one of their songs come on, I would know who it was. But it's also one of the, if you were to say like, you know, you saw my vest, he doesn't even know any songs by Pink Turns Blue. Well, actually, no, not off the top of my head. Did Pink Turns Blue do Walking on Both Sides though, which is what I used in that Alice in Wonderland mix? I think that was them. So, see, even then, like, I'm not even 100% sure because we all have bands like that, and I'm like that. So I had got this. So Roz had hers, but her patch never showed up. It just never showed up, and then so she ordered a second one, put it on her jacket, and then it was like after she had moved here, like we had done this. A lot of these, like these ones, and there might be a few others here yet. Oh, Mike, make your. We were having a date. We were watching movies online together when she was in Iowa and I was here, and we were like on Etsy on our phones, like trying to find patches. So they have a lot of meetings just for that. Got a lot of these from that one night. Hi. You look like you're getting kind of tired. Anyway, sorry about that. Cute animal. So her mom, she's talking to her mother on her phone, and her mother's like, oh, I have something of yours. Well, this showed up at her parents' house, and her mom didn't read the name on the envelope. Like, they have the same initials. Almost the same first name, but... So she sees the first initial and the last name that would have been on it, and just was like, oh, that must be mine. Opened up, found the patch, and was like, what the hell is this? And just kind of tossed it aside and didn't think anything of it. So that's why Roz had to order a second one. So I don't know if she mailed it to us or if she brought it at our wedding, but she gave this back to us. So I took it, and Roz gave it to me, and I said, well, I don't like the idea of like matching. It's a little weird for me, but I do like this one more than this one, and it's because we have the story behind it, and she gave it to me. That's the one that's going on. Like I don't need it on there twice. Maybe we could put this one on yours. Like if we use that one, or if we make another one, maybe we can we can each have a Fields of the Nephilim. That might be a good way to use that. So of that night, I had ordered a set from the store. It was a random. It was like $20. You could pick a genre. They had like a death metal, black metal, folk metal, like hair metal, like whatever. They had different genres. So I picked the goth one, of course. The big bat that I ended up putting on that was hanging off the ghost emblem, that came from that set. The only problem with the set, these look great. The only problem with it was they all looked exactly the same. They're all done the same. There's just black and white, kind of plain. There was a set of crossbones. I think I gave those to Roz. There was a Nick Cave one, but it was from the birthday party. It wasn't Nick Cave and the Bad Seed. I've never cared for his birthday party stuff, so I didn't use that one. I looked at maybe cutting the logo off, and so it's just like his silhouette, but it wasn't working. But there was one that came, because I figured it was like 5 random ones. You don't get to pick them out, but it was like $20. One was the Susie and the Banshees one. That was cool, but I had that red and black one already on the jacket and everything. So, I should have something Susie related on this. I guess we could do something from the creatures. I don't think there's anything about the Banshees on this fest. But anyway, so I needed something from the Cure, and it didn't make it on the jacket because the patch is too big, and even cutting it down, I couldn't cut it down enough. But it's one of Robert Smith with the Cure logo on there. Like, now that I'm doing a new one, this is absolutely 100% going on. Like, this might be one of the first ones. So this was that night. But the other thing, I found a movie one I liked. Now, that was all bands. But I found a movie one. You know, I'm a huge Godzilla fan, so I see this. It's Godzilla, and like he's in a hot tub, but he's in a bowl of ramen. And I'm like, this is too cool. Right away, I knew with the way this was shaped, it would fit in with the way that X and the X Japan, since they're kind of crescent. I was like, it'll fit like right inside. So I was actually put the Godzilla next to the X Japan because they're both Japanese, obviously, and it just fits. And I'm like, this will look good. But I was like, I need other movie stuff. But what would I put? So of course I get this, and I find 2, and the one right away. I have to have this. My favorite actor of all time, I can't give the man an introduction. It's Peter Cushing. It's a patch of Peter Cushing. But even better, it's my favorite role. It is Peter Cushing as Baron Frankenstein. How am I not going to put that on the jacket? So I had this, and then I had an idea. It dropped on the floor. I need one to show the more, like, this is great. It does help with the whole goth side of things, but I need one more. So I had this idea. I was like, there's no way somebody made a patch of this, but looked it up. They did. It's from The Craft. It even says on here, "We are the weirdos, mister." I can never remember her name. She also played Dorothy in Return to Oz, which is another movie I like. It was really big in the goth subculture, too. So I feel like an idiot. I can't think of her name. But yeah, so I've got that. So I always planned on, I want them kind of together, like she's looking at him, like she's telling him they're the weirdos, especially when it's Frankenstein. But I can never figure out if I want them kind of side by side, or the other idea was having her up higher and tilting it, so it's like she's looking down, or even maybe tilt him up a little. So that's been the biggest. The only reason these 3 didn't end up on there, one, this would have had to go over the pocket, and I just didn't feel like sewing that at the time because of where I wanted it. And then these all would have been kind of together, like it'd be this one and then these 2, and just not knowing quite how I wanted her, I just never got to it. And I'm kind of glad because these can go on the vest now, which leads to the back patch. I don't have a back patch picked out. I have a few, but I want something Nosferatu because of the movie, and it's also one of my favorite bands. And if Damien DeVille is watching this video, because believe it or not, he's actually subscribed to my channel. He subscribed. I got the notification almost a year ago. It was like a year ago. I got the thing on Facebook. It was like 2 years ago, like this week, sometime this past week, that his record label had subscribed to my. So I was like, yeah, there's other people working there. It was probably him. But that was right after I did the Mazinger Z video, and I had the copy of I think it was The Prophecy. It just happened to be. That was their album that happened to be in the CD case next to it, so I had to, like, it's my all-time favorite band, because I'm like, also Nosferatu. So Damien or anybody else from the music label, I can't even think of the name now. If you had some reason watch this video, yeah, you get a little bit of a shout out. But I found a Nosferatu one, and it's really cool. It's like this big gothic window, and then it's got Count Orlok, and it has Nosferatu on the bottom. But they do like 3 of them because they do the sky outside the window. Like everything's grayscale in the sky. There's an orange one, a green one, and I think a red one. The red I don't care for, both the orange and the green. I love the orange because it looks like it's starting to become night. He's like waking up or something. The green is just cool because it's green, but it almost looks like he's some parallel world with this green sky. But I was like, that's almost a perfect back patch because it goes for a movie and it goes for a band. Because you can't find any like Nosferatu band merchandise because the name, it's all from the movie. So I was like, that's cool. It's like 2 in 1 for this big back patch. But the store has 3 other ones that I like. 2 are the same, but they're both, all 3 of them have ravens on them, obviously. But the one, it's basically the same, but it has a little text on the top and the bottom. It's a Poe quote. It's was it being young and consumed by folly? I found myself consumed by melancholy. I totally butchered that quote, but it's that one. Like, I didn't get it fully right, but you understand. So I'm like, that would be really cool too. So I'm having a hard time deciding on that. But I do have one here that's meant to be a back patch. I'm not going to use it as such though. It turned to be bigger than I wanted. So, but I had picked this one up a couple months back. So now we're getting, excuse me. Now we're getting into the newer stuff, but you already kind of saw it, but it's a vampire hand holding a heart. Like, I thought it was going to be like half this size, so it would make a good back patch. But what I wanted to do is have it coming, I was going to pull up this, because at the time I thought I can't speak. The plan was to take that seam that goes down the side of a vest or a jacket, pull up about an inch of it, so I can stick it inside there and then re-sew it. It was going to be a bitch, but the idea was it would come out of the side and wrap around the ribs, like it's pulling the heart out from your rib cage almost, and pulling it like back somewhere else. But then I decided to get the vest with the laced up sides, which is funny because I decided to go that route. They had the one I bought, they had both styles, and I was like, oh, I've always wanted a vest with the lace ups, and so I got that, and I was like, wait, every vest I've ever owned that wasn't a dress vest had the lace up sides, so this was not any different. So doing that with this, because it's more open, it's going to lose the effect, but I'm probably still going to do it that way because I think I kind of like the idea of that. It won't kind of wrap towards the back. It has to be either the front or the back. So I'm probably going to do that so it's coming off the front. I did try it when I was setting things up. I did try it on the back, and it didn't look right. So the other idea I had from the back is I found some tarot card ones. It was a store I bought, I think it might have been the same store I bought this one from, but I bought a couple of them from the store. And she only had 2, but there were 2 I really wanted because they have a lot of meaning to me, and they are the star and the moon. So the way it plays out is I feel cheesy saying I love you all the time. So I was one night with Roz, and this was still fairly early because she was still in Iowa. I had turned to her because I was leaving, and it's just saying I love you. She's like, I love you, and it says, you're the moon to my night. And she like just turned bright red. Then she started responding to me with, well, you're the stars to my sky. So I saw these and I was like, I have to have those, but also, one, they're just cool. And this is another one. I thought these were going to be a lot smaller, but they're massive. It's got a black and a white wolf on it. So I've got Solomon, who's out on the porch, of course, because it was the best way to keep it. He can't come in here. There's not enough room. And plus the camera here and the door's there. He's just going to tear through stuff. I don't really want him downstairs alone, so he's playing out on the porch. He likes to sit there and watch people. And I know he's safe and I can hear him. And if he wants in, he'll bark. So, but he's black and white, obviously being a German Shepherd and Alaskan Malamute, but also thinking of Callisto and Elric, our 2 rabbits. So that really tied in. But one thing I said, I wish she had more than just these 2. I wish she had like at least all the major ones, because I would totally get 3 more so I could have 5. And for the back patch, just do like a Celtic cross pattern. That'd be fucking cool. Like, it wouldn't be the full pattern, it would just be the cross part. I wouldn't have anything on the sides. But I'd probably get the sun because the sun is a star. So if I can't find, we'll find a lot of moon stuff. If we can't find anything with a star, we'll just get something with the sun. I think we call it the star, or maybe like the fool, or just, maybe the death one. Something like that I thought would be cool. But you can find stuff like that, but not this style that this woman did. So unfortunately, these are the only 2, so I couldn't work with these. I thought, I'm going to get off tangent. I thought they were going to be like the size of this Burzum one. And they're very clearly not. Because my idea was if they were the size of the Burzum one, I was like, one, I could sneak the Burzum one in there. But I could do them almost like playing cards, overlap them a little, and then so they're like holding them. So then the Burzum one could be hidden in there. And I was like, that'd be kind of cool. And I've even considered still kind of overlapping them like that on the jacket. I might do them this way if these are the only two yet. Like, yeah, I lose part of the one, but I think that would be kind of cool. So let's talk about the Burzum one. This actually, excuse me, I should have brought this one out at the start. This was one of the first ones I got for the other vest. You know, I like the ambient stuff, like especially Ways of Yore, but some, like all of this stuff, the newer ones, I can't think of the names. What's the one that, the name, it's in scan, it's like, I can't think of the name, but it means, like west of the sun, east of the moon. Solvestum Mani Estum something. I butchered that too, just like it is, but that's a great one too. But of course, if you know anything about Vard Vickers, he and I, our values do not align. This is very much when I listen to his stuff, like I don't listen to any of his death, his black metal. I just listen to his like dungeon synth stuff, which he's kind of an instrumental in turning that into a subgenre. But for me, it's very much a case of I need to separate the art from the artist. And so even though this was the first one I got, I liked how all the other ones on the jacket were black, or I had a few red ones. This was this bright white because this is designed to look like the cassette, like the cover of his demo, which he just kind of drew it on a white piece of paper, so it was just black and white. I think that's the story. I could have that totally wrong. My nephew would know. Hi. And I'm sure anybody who knows in the comments, like, here's how that really went down. Cool. Let me know. I'd actually love to have that info. So I just thought it was really cool because I've always liked the logo and but because of who Varg is, I ultimately decided not to put it on the vest, and I just couldn't find a good. It turns out it stood out too much. So with this one, since I have like those white tarot card ones, and it's going to be more of a variety color, I am going to try and work this one in. I decided I would try and work it in. But it is one that I think if people know what it is, the black metal fans are gonna be like, fucking poser. And I'm like, whatever, dude, I don't give a shit. I don't even listen to black metal, like every now and then. Mayhem's Death Crush is always a good listen, and I like Carpathian Force. That's kind of it. So I wanted to get a Carpathian Forest patch, but I couldn't find one. Now I should just restate that. I couldn't find one I liked. I found like 3. I don't like it. So that's a leftover from the first jacket, and I even attempted to put on the green vest I had been working on, and it just no. So I have something to offshoot this, because you all know I'm a proponent for equal rights. These ones just kind of came. I was really waiting for these before I could do anything. Now I can start getting like the front set up and everything, and I do need to decide on a back patch or if I'm even going to have one. So these all came from the same store, but the first one, because I might put these together, mostly because it would probably piss Varg off. It's a pair of eyes. This thing's tiny. I hope you can see it, but it's a pair of eyes rolling back, and it says eye rolls for gender roles. I love this. I fucking love this. And I think it'd be funny to kind of put those sort of together if I can make that work somehow. So, but among these ones, this lady had, I actually found this one first. It says no gods, no masters, and I just love the way that sounded, and I think that relates to me well. But even though I said no duplicate patches, you know, I told you I wanted to get that 1334 one again. I said maybe I can have that one because I need something Roz Williams, and I don't want a Christian Death one. I certainly don't want premature ejaculation. I actually really like Shadow Project. I think Shadow Project was one of his best things, but that's kind of the same way where the name came from. I'm like, if you don't know the story, it's the story about when they dropped the atomic bombs on Hiroshima, about how some people just melted into the ground and there's like shadows just permanently on the ground because that was the person. That's what the name Shadow Project comes from. Now I know they did that in part to be spooky, but in part as more honoring the memory of those people. But I'm like, I don't know. So I was like, should I get another 13? Should I rebuy that 1334 one? And I said, well, I bought it off a third party website. I couldn't remember what it was. So I was like, nah, like, I don't even remember where I got it. That's the one I'd want. And then that exact patch showed up on me on eBay. And it said store you bought from before. So I was like, maybe I misremembered this. I bought it off of eBay. But you remember it had that neat, it had like a very specific script, and it was like red on the outside, and the lettering was all in white. And she had one, No Gods, No Masters. She did like in the exact same style, despite being a completely different store. So I was like, I should get that. Then I can get the 1334 one, and I can put them together, because with the way Roz Williams was, that's perfect with that 1334. And then now I have that on there, but I've combined the two patches, and it's a little bit different. So, and then of course I saw the eye rolls for gender roles, and I had to pick that up. But she actually had a couple that were just genres. And I said, that's great, because I can't put all these different bands. Like, I don't have the space for it. So I bought two of her genre ones, but she did have like, she had a folk metal one, and I considered picking that up just because of the folk metal gamer. But as I have stated many times, even back in those days, actually not the biggest folk metal fan. Like, I think it's a lot of fun, but it's one of those, I can listen to maybe 5 songs and I'm done. But she had these in different styles too, so I was able to pick like my color. So the first one's a dungeon synth one, and I got it in a green, like a stone almost color, like this gray. So it looks like moss growing on a stone. See if I get a little bit closer with that, and that is fucking gorgeous. So then the other one she had that I like is synthwave, and I found one, it's got a very retro aesthetic to it. So I was like, if I could get a few more of these for some, and then just kind of like layer them like that down the one side of like the back side of the jacket, I think that'd be cool as fuck. But these were like she had a lot. She had like a black metal, death metal, the folk metal, I think synth pop. But these were the two that really were like stuff that I really listened to. So I was like, didn't want to go through. Like, I tried to find a goth one, but I was like, I'm gonna have all those bands at the bottom. It's not a big deal. So these came from a store in the UK, so I've been waiting quite a while for these to show up. Among that, I found one, I wanted something kind of spooky. I love the ones that say creep and real, but I found one that I think speaks to probably everybody from my generation, because we all loved Robin Williams. Dead Poet Society is a well-liked movie, but it's also kind of one of his more iffy ones. So I found this because it's the opposite, and I just love the way like this turned out. And they had a big one. I considered getting this, actually, the big version of this for the back patch, but I decided ultimately not to. But it's Carpe Noctem, Seize the Night. And you might not be able to see it. Let's get it in a little closer. There's actually like a red inlay going around all on the back of that. It's hard to see, but that is just so gorgeous. I had to pick that one up too. Wish I had more to say about that one, but I really don't. So this last one, I need to get a 9 Inch Nails one. It's probably just gonna be small. Might even, if I could get a 9 Inch Nails one that looked like the Dungeon Synth, like, that'd be kind of cool. But anyway, I knew I needed, because I wanted them on the other jacket. I just never put them on because they're kind of in between. They definitely float that line of goth but metal, but not really gothic metal, because they're industrial acts. It's its own thing, but it floats in. It's that medium that kind of bridges those two things together for a lot of people, myself included. So I'm like, I want a 9 Inch Nails one, and I want a Typo Negative one. And the problem with Typo Negative is I want them all. But I found this one. I had actually picked a different one out. I can't remember what it was, but this one was similar. One, I just love the colors, because, you know, like purple and green are two of my favorite colors. They don't go together at all, but two of my favorite colors. The Typo Negative used a lot of green in theirs. It's a Typo Negative. It's got the soldier on it, and it says, whatever it is, we're against it. Again, very anti-establishment. How could I not? So I was, oh man, I was like trying to describe it to Roz, and I was like, I should show you the picture. No, we'll just wait till it gets here. So I made her wait to see that one. So that is all of them that I have out here now. There may be more floating around the house, but I don't think there is. I don't have any coming in the mail. This might be it. Maybe I'll get more later and add to it, like I was always doing with the jacket. eventually, you know, it's art, but eventually I'm gonna run out of canvas. I have considered doing multiple jackets like that, or like the idea with that first vest I attempted. Hey, that didn't have lace-up sides, but that was a disaster. That was, I wanted to do a vest, and that one I bought, because I got it on a clearance rack for like $5. I was like, why not? But it was like a double or a triple XL, and it just looked huge on me. That's why I didn't wear it too much. I don't even know where that is now. But that was the one where I first got the idea of doing them all in Velcro, and then being able to swap them out. And then that's what I did to Thor's vest. So, I don't know if you noticed on the first one I showed you, the Not All Who Wander Are Lost. It looks really frayed because I had that on the Velcro backing, and we pulled that off of there. I think I asked Ross to do that for me because she's a little better with the seam ripper than me. It's not the most complicated thing in the world, but you know, you got to kind of do each individual one. And almost guys just want to take and go, and it's not how you do it. I would have destroyed it. So those are my patches and the stories behind them, and kind of how they relate to who I am as a person, and why they were picked to go on the vest. So I'm excited to get working on this. You excited, Pom Pom? No. I finally got. She eats about as much hay on her own as Elric and Callisto have, or do. Like Persephone, I fill her hay thing up like maybe every other day. She doesn't eat. She's a chubby little thing, and she doesn't eat much, like, and she doesn't eat fast. But she takes in about as much as Elric and Callisto combined, but she's always doing stuff with me, so she gets exercise. She burns it all. So I've got that outside of Elric and Callisto's house. I just got an old magazine rack. Got it for like $3 at a thrift store. It's just sitting outside, and I just stuff it full of hay, and the one side's facing the wall of their cage, so they can just pull it through the bars when they're inside, and then they can come outside and eat from the other side if they want. And sometimes they'll pull it out through the openings, or sometimes like Callisto likes to get up and eat it from the top, and it's all good. So I want to do something like that for her. But like, there's no space outside the cage. I can't put it outside. And she's got the smallest cage, so there's nowhere to put it inside. So I saw one I was at the Habitat for Humanity store today. Bored after work, I'm like, it's 2 blocks away, I'm just gonna walk over there. I had a lot to do, but I was like, I'm gonna go check it out. Because they always change the inventory. I couldn't go last week because we were closed for the holiday. So I went over that, and I found one. Paid a little more than $3 for it, but it's okay. But it's thinner, but I think it holds more, because I was trying to fill it, and I actually took all of the stuff out of Callisto and Ulrich's and put it in there, and I had like just filled that, and it's still not even half full. But because it's got bigger bars, and I noticed she likes to pull things from the top of her cage. Certain things she doesn't like, but like when I feed her the vegetables at night, I give her lettuce, I toss those in, and she likes that. But if I give her herbs, I would hang them either on the kind of the side of the cage, or just hang them off the top. And she would get so excited to jump up and grab them or pull them down, or she'd stand up and try and chew the leaves without touching them. So I've been trying to figure out a way to like hang herbs for her. So I was like, hey, this thing, it's more open than the other one, and they're vertical bars, whereas the other one's horizontal, and they're much bigger. So what I ended up doing is I took some zip ties, I flipped the thing, you know, I flipped it on its side, took zip ties, and zip tied it to the roof of the thing, of her cage, and then I just felt like, I did it kind of off the side about where she sleeps. So it's kind of covered there as she sleeps, so it makes that area a little darker and a little smaller, because it's like this thick, so it like cuts her. She still has to stand up, she's like, I have to stand up to get to it, so she's not gonna like jump up and smack her head. But I did that for her today, and I got it filled, but it's nice, I can just reach in there and just kind of stuff it like this, and it's real easy to refill. And I grabbed some of the herbs out of the fridge, and I placed them so they're hanging off of it now, and then I put the hay on top, so the hay's coming down too. But then it's done in a way she can go to the opening, and she can stand up and just pull it off the opening, or she can be underneath it and just pull it down. And she's having a blast with that, like she's so happy. But because of that, I initially, the first one I did, I tried it, I put it just in the front, and it was facing me. Like, if this is, I mean, this is about the size of her cage. Say this is the opening, it was like this. So it's right here. So she couldn't get to the, like, it was great for me, because if I wanted to refill it, I'd just go like that. But she wanted to get up in there and try and pull it from the opening, the front opening. And I was like, oh, you can't do that, because it's like right up against the door. So I was like, oh, you know what, if I move it to this side, that'll work better. So, but I used my last 2 zip ties, and they're not the kind that you can adjust, because that wouldn't be good for these guys. They'd probably try to take them apart. So I ended up having to go to buy new zip ties and get that. So so she's been out of her cage a lot today, like more than, because she's on the couch playing while I'm setting this up. Then I had to put her in there, and I had to leave and come back and pull her out again. And then I was like, well, it's the day I would clean the cages out anyway. I need to do her litter box. And then I put her back in, and she was all happy and relaxed because she'd be playing on the couch. She's like, oh, okay, if my playtime's over, I'm gonna chill. And I'm like, hey, let's go upstairs and film a video. And so she is kind of moody with me because it's like, I'm in the cage for the day or I'm out. This is how we've been doing it. You can be out now for a little while longer, girl. So anyway, she's had quite the day, so you can tell she's a little ornery with me. And then again, I tried to have her wear the vest just to see how it worked, and she's like, she was actually walking around. She seemed pretty happy, but I was like, I'm gonna take it off, and she might have just been hot. I think it's that when it snuggles onto them, a lot of times they kind of freak out because it's like a predator grabbing them. So I think it's just like her instinct, because she's doing that, and I was messing with her feet, and I was like, hey, if I put this on her, I can probably clip her nails finally. So anyway, that's what Pom Pom's been up to today. She's been having a very action-packed day, adventure-y day. That's why you're the adventure bun. I'm gonna turn this off, let the dog in, and go edit this thing. So I hope you enjoyed this. And another video of me rambling on about essentially nothing but something that I find interesting. And if you're gonna make a jacket or a vest like this, it's something to consider. Like, I just went over all the things these patches mean to me, and all of them together. It's not going to just be music, movies, a few other things that have a significant meaning to me and why. And so if you're going to do this, think about that. Like, you know, I love Scatman John, but I don't feel like I would want a Scatman John patch on my jacket. Plus, the meaning of scat has changed significantly since the jazz era, so that's also a thing, like not wanting to put Ross Williams' band Premature Ejaculation on there. And I want to do Christian Death because part of it is I don't want to offend people in that way, I guess. But also, then people are going, so, Team Ross or Team Valor? It's not even a question for me, dude. So, and yeah, I can put the modern one of Christian Death 1334 on there, but even then, Ross isn't a part of it. He's been gone since the 90s. He's not had anything to do with that. So I do want to put something for Ava O on there. I think that Designs by Jordy has a superheroines. I think I'll get that if she still has it. I might have to pick that one up because I've lined them up. I can probably put 2 or 3 more of those on there. Maybe I should pick out another bigger name. I really want to get something for the Sisters of Mercy on there. Nobody likes Andrew Eldrick. He's a fucking dickwad, but you can't deny their influence in goth music and music in general. Fantastic. You know, you got 3 albums only, but they're all solid. And I will say this, much like Sonata Arca's Days of Grey, if anybody wants to debate this with me, I will take to the grave debate Vision Thing as a good album. I was in the camp of I didn't like it at first, but once I really said it, I was like, you know, there's only 8 tracks in this album. 4 of them are really fucking solid. 2 of them, or 3 more, are pretty okay. The only track I would say is absolute crap is the title track of Vision Thing, and I think that's the main problem people have with the album, because that's also the first thing on the album, so you hear that kick on when you put that on, especially like the lyrics. The first line of the song is like 25 whores in the room next door and I want more or something. You hear that and you're just like, the fuck am I listening to? That is a big throw off. But if you were to like skip right to the second track, you'd probably have a good time. You know, I love When You Don't See Me is one of my favorite songs of all time. That's off that album. I did the bass cover for that a few years ago. So, and that alone, in my opinion, justifies Vision Thing. Boy, this just got way off kilter talking about patches, and now I'm like, I will fucking defend Vision Thing. This is the hill I'm on, man. Vision Thing and Days of Grey are actually good albums. Change my mind. You're not gonna be able to change my mind, especially since I used to be in the same camp as everybody else on Vision Thing. I had to change my own mind on that one. But Days of Grey, from day one of me hearing it, yeah, I don't need to say any more about that. Defending that one. Yeah, I don't know how to end videos. I just like to talk, and this helps me. This is like therapy for me, so this is good. Uh, we'll get out of here. Let Solomon back in, and you can get back to your lives. So thanks for sticking with me if you did. And again, let me know if you have any ideas, if you like bands or movies or anything like that that you would put on your design, on your jacket, on your vest, or if there's something that I've said in the past that makes you go, hey, why don't you consider these guys because of this reason? Because that would be pretty cool. I would love to hear that. I did have some pens, like not pens, pins, buttons that I got that ended up going on the other vest end of the green one. But since I lost that, but I had like one. It was basically the Sega logo, like the old Sega logo, the little gold, but it said Console Wars veteran or something, like veteran of the Console Wars, and I had like a Ms. Pac-Man one. I'd probably put a few of those on, but I don't know where they are. So, and this jacket doesn't have really a collar, so I can't do a lapel like the old one. But I did want to put maybe one patch up there because there's a button. I was like, I'm gonna put like one. I found one of a black and white rabbit. It made me think of Elric and Callisto. I was like, I could maybe do like that on there, or move my Alice in Wonderland one from my blue my fancy the like captain's coat. I've got that really slutty looking Alice smoking the hookah with the caterpillar because I was supposed to be the caterpillar at that tea party. And I'm like, it's cool, I'm leaving it on there, bring something else. Yeah, I might move that over to the jacket, we'll see.